Since I started The Artist Way, I've been really thinking lately about what it means to create without fear, letting go of the perfectionism and being open to taking creative risks. Week 7 of The Artist Way is recovering from a sense of connection, and it's basically my version of therapy. Hopefully by the end of this video, it's going to help me appreciate my messy, non-perfect self, and maybe give you a little inspiration to take risks and be a little creative and not worry too much. I hope you enjoy. This afternoon, I did read chapter 7 of The Artist Way, and I have thoughts. We'll talk about that tomorrow because it's late and I need to make dinner. I really want to start cooking more often. A lot of the times when we think of art, we think of it as photography, ceramics, painting, drawing, and sketching. Something that is tangible that you can see and you can experience and appreciate. And I forget, I don't know why I'm bundling everyone up. It's mostly just me, and maybe it's you too, that cooking and baking is also a form of art. And I want to be better about making food at home. I want to get creative with what we eat at home. Mark and I are such creatures of habits, and we are just happy with making the same thing over and over again. But the thing is, I have cookbooks. I want to be able to creatively make food that's going to nourish my body and also taste delicious. And today we're going to do just that, because one of the activities in The Artist's Way is to create one wonderful smell in your house. Maybe it's with soup, incense, fir branches, candles, whatever. And I think for the last 3 weeks, I've been telling Mark that I'm going to be making soup, but I haven't made soup. I did go to the grocery store and I picked up some ingredients that we didn't have because I will be using Candace Kumai's recipe. This is my tried and true. I love this book. It's so easy. The ingredients are clean and it's just hearty. And the soup that I'm going to be making tonight is her famous to me, my favorite clean green minestrone soup. Think Olive Garden, but not as good since it's not Olive Garden. So I'm thinking that's going to be perfect for dinner. So we're gonna make dinner together and we're gonna turn this house from smelling like puppy, even though I love the smell of puppies, but we're gonna turn it from puppy to soup. It's gonna smell like fall. burnt the roof of my mouth yesterday from the soup, which was delicious, by the way. I am so proud of myself, and honestly, I don't know why I don't cook more often. All I did was listen to an audiobook and I made soup, and it was lovely. But it was just so easy, and I barely had to put any effort into it. All I had to do was chop up vegetables, and I'm proud of myself. I'm really glad I did it, and this is just a reminder that I should be making more food at home and trying out new recipes, especially because I have so many cookbooks at home. It is very dark outside. It's not even 6 o'clock, and it looks like it's 9 p.m. This is absolutely the worst. And anywhere I go, it looks like this. So you're just gonna have to bear with me. And for some reason, I feel like I blend in with the wall, with the couch. I just feel like a big blob of gray right now, but we love Kirkland. Let's have a chat. I made myself a spearmint tea to sip on before dinner. Like I mentioned, I did end up reading chapter 7 of The Artist's Way. I am officially halfway through. Can I get a woot woot, woot woot? I really liked what Julia Cameron had to say this week, and I feel like it was things that I needed to hear, and it was things that were already on the top of my mind. I feel like I could really resonate with them right now creatively, but also with how I'm feeling at work and in my personal life as well. We talked about how important it is to listen to your creativity. We talked about perfectionism, which I really needed this section, and also the importance of taking risks, and then ended with jealousy. Basically, what Julia Cameron is saying is to listen to our intuition. A lot of the times when we're creating art, we're thinking really hard. We're trying to look out somewhere for the inspiration to create. But she's telling us that rather than doing that, you should just listen to what your heart is saying. You should just listen to your intuition, and the art will kind of come to you. And the analogy that she kind of describes it as is like letting this river of creativity flow, and you're just along for the ride. You're just there on this journey rather than forcing it. When you listen to your intuition, that's the way that you're going to get your proudest art out of it. That's the way that you're really just going to enjoy the whole creative experience. Rather than constantly seeking things out and seeking out my next step, I want to kind of just let life live, and I want to be the kind of person who just lets things happen naturally. The second part of this chapter, wow, it's like she knows. It's about perfectionism, and it's the idea of overcoming our perfectionism and what we can do if we are perfectionists, which sadly I am. I know why I am a perfectionist, and I know why I am the way that I am, and it is deeply rooted into how I perceive myself, and that's just a whole nother rabbit hole that we can dig into of confidence and whatnot. But I took a lot of notes in this section. She starts off by saying that perfectionism doesn't mean that you're trying to get it right or that you're trying to have standards. It's actually a little bit worse than that. When I read what perfectionism actually means to her, I was like, oh God, you're 100% right. Wow. She says perfectionism is refusing to let yourself move ahead. I can't read my handwriting. Just like 1 second. Okay. She says, perfectionism is a refusal to let yourself move ahead. It is a loop, an obsessive, debilitating, closed system that causes you to get stuck in the details of what you are writing or painting or making and to lose sight of the whole. Genius. How did she come up with this? Instead of creating freely and allowing errors to reveal themselves later as insights, we often get mired in getting the details right. We correct our originality into a uniformity that lacks passion and spontaneity. Miles Davis says, "Do not fear mistakes. there are none. And I absolutely love that. It's so interesting because once I read through this section, I immediately thought about last week, week 6. If you haven't watched that video yet, it is up. I told myself that I was going to take inspiration from myself and I was going to paint a picture of a photo that I took on my camera while I was walking the dogs. And it was a picture of leaves and tree. It was very fall. It was perfect for fall. And I started painting. I got maybe a few branches in, and I got so, not even scared, but you could probably say scared. I basically got nervous and worried that my first run, since it's on a canvas board of acrylic paint, is not going to look good. So I immediately changed what I was doing entirely, and I ended up making this, which still is really pretty. It's impressionism, and I really liked how it turned out, but it's not what I originally wanted to do, and that's what Julia Cameron is trying to get at. I was so focused on making it look perfect. I was so focused on making it look good the first time because my thought process is that I have this one canvas board. I don't want to F it up. I want to make sure that I do a great job. And that's not the mindset that we should be having when we're creating art, especially for me, someone who's trying to let go of worrying too much about what I'm creating and just creating to create and creating to enjoy. That really just defeats the purpose. I really just held myself back, and I'm a little disappointed in myself, but we're going through this process so I can learn and grow and I don't make these mistakes again. But who am I kidding? I'm probably going to still make these mistakes again, but at least I'll think twice before potentially making the mistake. Julia Cameron says, perfectionism is not a quest for the best. It is a pursuit of the worst in ourselves. The part that tells us that nothing we do will ever be good enough. That we should try again. No, we should not. To the T. Spot on. So for this week, I'm going to go back to last week's project and I'm going to add on to my canvas that I already have, and I'm going to see what I can create. I am just going to focus on enjoying the moment and going back to listening. I'm going to listen to my intuition and listen to what I want to create and let the creativity come to me. And maybe that means I'm going to go back to drawing those trees. Who knows? Julia Cameron also talks about risk-taking, and I found that this really connected well with the section about perfectionism. She asks us a question right off the bat. What would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly? The answer should be a great deal more than I am. And that's so true. I think a lot of the times, especially for those people who are type A and think analytically, we are worried to take risks because we might not know what the outcome is. We might not think we're going to be good at what we're doing. We don't take risks, and that actually hinders us from experiencing life and the beauty of it all. Julia Cameron says, once we're willing to accept that anything worth doing might even be worth doing badly, our options widen. So I'm really going to remember that while I work on my canvas painting, and just know that it doesn't matter. It's all just for art. It's just me creating to try something new. It's me taking risks, and the whole reason why I started this Artist Way journey is so that I could learn to create with different forms of art, and I can open myself up to journaling, acrylic, watercolor, pastel, and just be more creative in my life. And then this last section is about jealousy. It's using jealousy as a map to identify our creative goals. Since I am pretty active on social media, I have seen that on YouTube, on Instagram, I've had such a really slow growth in subscribers and followers. I'm putting so much of myself out there and I'm trying so hard, and I'm proud of the work that I'm doing, but I'm not really seeing growth in the way that I was hoping to. And while there are other YouTubers and Instagrammers who keep growing so much, and yeah, that makes me jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm working so hard here. Why do I not have 2,000 subscribers by now, right? And it's this idea of jealousy. Jealousy is always a mask for fear. Fear that we aren't able to get what we want. Frustration that somebody else seems to be getting what is rightfully ours, even if we are too frightened to reach it. So yeah, I do get jealous of other people. I'm really happy for them, don't get me wrong, and I'm proud of where I am today, but it's just the idea of wanting something that other people have that I'm seeing. But what I'm trying to change my perspective on that is that I am just trying to just keep putting my foot forward and doing my best, because that's all I can really do. I can't affect other people's social media posts and their growth. What I can do is affect how I view my social media and how I view my videos, and just being proud of creating, because that's what I can mold, and that's what I can actually take action and do from. Does that make sense? I feel like I just said words. I'm like blabbing. Green is the color of jealousy, but is also the color of hope. When you learn to harness its fierce energy on your own behalf, jealousy is part of the fuel towards a greener and more verdant future. Verdant? See, I read words and I say them out loud, and then I realize that I don't think I've ever said that word out loud before, so then I'm wondering if that's how it's even pronounced. All in all, it was such a great chapter, and it was very eye-opening. I'm also excited to go through some of these tasks, and I thought I could share a few. One of them I already did yesterday. It was to create a wonderful smell in your house with soup, incense, and whatnot. Another one that I want to work on is give yourself time to listen to one side of an album for joy. You may want to doodle as you listen, allowing yourself to draw the shapes, emotions, thoughts you hear in the music. Notice how just 20 minutes can refresh you. Learn to take these mini artist dates to break stress and allow insight. I think I'm going to do that tonight. Wear your favorite item of clothing for no special occasion. Okay, that I'm excited for, but this next one I'm really, really excited for. Buy yourself one wonderful pair of socks, one wonderful pair of gloves, one wonderfully comforting, self-loving something. I can't wait to do that. You know I love treating myself. And speaking of treating myself, I went book shopping with Logan, and I thought I could share what I got. This is going to be pretty rapid fire. I feel like I've just been blabbing and you want me to stop. This wasn't planned, obviously. Last week I went to Half Price Bookstore. I got rid of some books. I purchased 3 books with my credit, which I think is a win. I paid $7 for 3 books, so go me. And, well, Logan and I needed a little day off. We needed to treat ourselves. For no reason. She deserved it. But I had to support her because that would be no fun, right? So let's go through my book haul. The first book is Dusk by Robbie Arnott. I got this from Rainy Day Books because they were celebrating their 50th anniversary of just being alive and having a storefront. So of course I had to treat myself and support local. This one I mostly just got for the cover. It also does sound interesting, not something I would normally pick up. It says, in the distant highlands, a puma named Dusk is killing shepherds. Down in the lowlands, twins Iris and Floyd are out of work, money, and friends. When they hear that a bounty has been placed on Dusk, they reluctantly decide to join the hunt, and they journey into the wild, haunted country. It's reminding me of Wild Dark Shore and any like nature thriller story. Maybe The Revenant. That's what it's giving. We'll see. It seems pretty short. I'm trying to read more books by authors that I've never heard of before, and I've never heard of this author or this book. And then I got myself one more book from Rainy Day Books. It's The Loneliness of Sonia and Sunny by Kiran Desai. This book actually was one of the top 5 For the Booker Prize nominations, it was long listed. First of all, this book is really heavy. This book is actually reminding me of Homeseeking, which is one of my favorite books of all time. It's a spellbinding story of two young people whose fates intersect and diverge across continents and years. An epic of love and family, India and America, tradition and modernity. Modernity? Why did I say that? Modernity. Do I need to go back to school? I'm hoping to read this sooner rather than later. But don't we say that about all books? Really? Okay, so there's two books on here that Logan and I got, and we're adding this to our 2026 TBR. The first one being Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. She got herself a copy too. Our goal for 2026 is to read through the entire Robin Hobb trilogy and the rest of the series if we possibly can. Aren't there like 20,000 books in that series? And then, listen, I was going to get the Kobo version of this, but Logan wanted to get it too. And so we both got Ravenscaller by Antonia Hodgson, and we're planning on reading this in 2026. I've heard this is probably one of the best 2025 fantasy romanticies of the year. So I have really high hopes, and I am pretty sure I'm gonna love it. At least I hope so. I don't know how to say this, and I'm just gonna say it. I impulse bought a whole entire series based on one book that I wanted, but they're all really pretty. It is what do you even call this series? The Southern Ranch series. I got Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, Authority by Jeff Vandermeer, Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer, Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer. I ended up getting the whole entire series because I can't be stopped and I had a gift card. So basically I didn't pay for any of these books. So go me. That is my book haul. Those are the books that I got. And I'm going to shower because I look like this. And I'm going to work on some of the activities from this week's Artist Way this evening. And then probably just relax. Cheers.